Buenos días, bienvenidos a la clase de español. Hoy vamos a continuar con el vocabulario preliminar. Vamos a hablar de la fecha, los números y los colores. Aquí tenemos la fecha. This means the date. So we have días de la semana, days of the week. And one of the things to note is that in Spain and Spanish-speaking countries, they're going to start their week on Monday. And so the days of the week will go lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. So those 2 days of the weekend are put together at the end of the week instead of starting the week. So just an interesting cultural difference. And some of these you may have heard if you've ever watched Dora or seen Sesame Street. There's a lot of PBS programs that will incorporate some Spanish now. So these might be familiar to you. Then if we move on to the months of the year, they are very similar in appearance to the English, so they shouldn't be too hard to work on. The slight difference is enero, doesn't look much like January. Then we have febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. Notice a difference here is that the months of the year are not capitalized in Spanish. And if I go back for a moment here, days of the week in Spanish are also not capitalized. So that is a grammatical difference between English and Spanish. Going forward then, if we want to put the months into seasons, las estaciones means the seasons. So spring is la primavera, and that would be the months of marzo, abril, mayo. Summer is el verano, months of junio, julio, agosto. Fall is el otoño. Again, here's that tilde that gives it the y sound, otoño, with septiembre, octubre, noviembre. And winter is el invierno, with the months of diciembre, enero, febrero. A bit more with la fecha. Más con la fecha means more with the date. ¿Qué día es hoy? This is how you ask, what day is it today? So if somebody asks me, ¿Qué día es hoy? Then I would reply with, Hoy es viernes. Hoy es viernes. I'm making this on a Friday. ¿Qué día es mañana? Is asking what day is tomorrow. So I would respond, mañana es sábado, because tomorrow for me would be Saturday. ¿Cuáles son los días del fin de semana? Which are the days of the weekend? Sábado y domingo son los días del fin de semana. Saturday and Sunday are the days of the weekend. Now, slightly different. This was ¿Qué día es hoy? So what day is it today? But then if you ask ¿Cuál es la fecha hoy? You're asking what is the date today. So it might seem a little bit long to you, but the correct way to answer it would be lo siento. Hoy es el 11 de agosto de 2017. So on your paper, if you want to be official and you want to write the date out, you would take this part and you would put put in the number 11 here. You wouldn't have to write it out. El 11 de agosto, you put the month in this blank. De 2017. So the only thing that you really have to write out fully is the month here in this blank. Otherwise, you put the number here and put the number here. Just a couple ways to say the date to practice. Hoy es el 1 de septiembre. This is a little bit different. Instead of saying the number 1, uno, here we say it is the 1st of September, but that's the only one that we do that for in Spanish. The rest then go to the number. Hoy es el 2 de septiembre. Hoy es el 3 de septiembre. Hoy es el 4 de septiembre. So just note that if you're saying it's the 1st of the month, we use this as actually the ordinal number form of it. Cardinal numbers are the ones we count with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And ordinal are the ones that we rank with 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So we're using an ordinal number here in Spanish when we tell that it's the 1st. A few more questions. ¿Cuántos días hay en una semana? How many days are there in a week? And you would actually answer with hay 7 días en una semana. I'll just put hay 7. We'll talk about this verb because this is an irregular one. It's really strange, but what it just means is there is or there are. ¿Cuántos meses hay en un año? How many months are there in a year? And again, hay 12 meses en un año. Hay 12. ¿Cuántas estaciones hay en un año? How many seasons are there in a year? Hay 4. There are 4 seasons in a year. ¿En qué estación es junio? You would fill in the blank with a month here. This is asking in what season is, if I say junio, then in what season is June? Junio es en la estación del verano. Okay, so then, más con la fecha. Couple dates just to note. El 5 de Mayo, that's actually the anniversary of a French defeat by Mexican troops in Puebla in 1862. A lot of people say that's Independence Day. Well, it was a very important victory for the Mexican people, but it wasn't actually when they got their independence. El Día de la Independencia, celebrated around the 15th, 16th of September when they actually were independent. But Cinco de Mayo was an important battle. It was like the turning point for them. Okay, los números. Maybe some of you know these already. At least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is 1 through 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's where we have some of these different forms. But then very simply, as we continue counting, we just take diez, and you could write it 2 ways. You can combine them like this, or you can write it out diez y 6. So 2 ways to write all of these compound numbers, and the same will be true when we get to veintes. We can write it out with the E, which is and in Spanish. So anyway, it's simple as you're saying it because you're taking 10 and the number 6 here. So that makes 16. It's almost like a little addition problem. 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20 is 20. And then the same follows through as we continue with the numbers going on. 21, 20 and 1, 21. 22, 22. 23, 23. 24, 24. 25, 25. 26, 26. 27, 27. 28, 28, 29, 29, 30, 30. And so as we continue to count higher in Spanish, it's very easy to have the numbers memorized because you just keep adding on. So here, note that once we hit 30, we're going to be writing it out y uno, y dos.